Well, first of all, the thing I would say is that NSAS was never a noise. And so when we refer to it as noise, I mean, we're doing ourselves a great disservice. NSAS is a demand to be allowed to be alive in Nigeria. And the way Nigerians don't seem to see this, baffles me. People are still being killed now. People are being killed. Families are going through the pain and the grief that NSAS protesters do not want them to go through. And one of the things that I find really funny is that as Nigerians, we seem to delegate advocacy to certain people. We seem to delegate the fight for our rights and the fact that we should not be killed, we should not be oppressed to certain people. There are no certain people that are supposed to carry this fight. Everyone is supposed to be on the ground making the march, and that's it. And as long as they don't make the march, the killings are going on. SARS are still on the streets. They're still killing people. A lot of people between October and now, there have been a lot of people that have been reported to have been killed by police. Police brutality have caused a lot of grievances in houses. And so for me, that's the first thing that we need to get. On the issue of the NSAS advocacy, NSAS advocacy did not start in October. It actually started around 2017, 2018. I think by 2018, the first protest was called for, even though not a lot of people turned up in Abuja. It happened at the Unity Fountain. And so it's a protest that will continue because it's a protest for survival. In the words of Lawrence Orwell, it's a protest for survival. People are fighting to be allowed to live, and that we have a country where people are being killed anyhow, where the policeman will say to you that they will kill you and nothing will happen, and actually nothing happens. And when people even come out to protest, they are taking it. We should worry every one of us. It's not about saying, oh, this NSAS protest. Every one of us should be an NSAS protester. Because why? Because being a victim in Nigeria is no longer a matter of if. It is a matter of when. The victim card is going around and it is looking for to follow. Which family is going to cry next that the police have killed one of their loved ones? It will happen. Why will it happen? Because we have allowed it to continue. Because we are not making this demand and ensuring that an end is put to it. So on the issue of NSAS protests, anybody that thinks that NSAS protests have stopped, and that person is it's already deluding themselves. And the government might think that by using what they've always used, brutality, because this is a government that has no strategy, that there's no intelligence, there's no competence. So what do they use? They use brutality and kill people and begin to oppress people and begin to put fear in people by looking for people that are vulnerable and defenseless and going after them. It's just pathetic. Well, first of all, Kankara boys were not rescued. They were released, and there is a difference, and we should always know that difference. When you talk about rescues, you mean that we actually went there and we were able to get them out, fight and get them out of something. No, they weren't rescued. They were released. According to the state governor, he says there was negotiation between Allah and the terrorists. Between the statement of the president and the statement of the governor, that's where you know where we are. We have a very incompetent leadership, a failed leadership. The commander-in-chief is an absolute failure that is nowhere to be found in terms of strategic leadership, and because of that, all of this insurgency have continued. So if you're asking me to rate this government, Buhari's government, on the issue of insurgency, I would say minus 100. 100%. Honestly, 0 will be a pass mark for them. Because this government has failed so badly and so woefully that insurgency that was on in one part of the country has practically spread to a good number of other parts of the country. We have more insecurity today in Nigeria, and they come in different forms. We're talking about kidnapping, we're talking about the insurgency, we're talking about even roads. You cannot follow roads right now. So across Nigeria, this has gone on. For a man who was trained to be a general, who even his enemies never thought he could fail in the aspect of protecting, because nobody thought that Buhari would be such a pathetic failure when it comes to fighting insurgency, because that's what he was trained all his years to do. Nigeria wasted a lot of money training him to become a general, and then he comes into office as a commander-in-chief. He's failing and failing so woefully. It's unbelievable. And so, for me, the score is minus, it's negative 100%. They haven't done any. They have worsened the situation. Today, we have situations whereby things happen and there's nobody, there's no leadership. Just take, for example, I don't think, if you really want to know what defines Buhari's failure in this, in the area of insurgency, the area of insecurity, is the fact that on the day that Kankara kidnapping happened, was, first of all, it happened in his state, his home state, Katsina, and on that day, the president himself had flown into that state to his hometown, Deora, which is about, I think they say about 200 kilometers or thereabouts from Kankara. Okay. The fact that the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was in the state did not deter the terrorists from kidnapping those children. That tells you that they know that we do not have a commander-in-chief. The fact that they took hours to conduct their operation and they were not challenged tells you that we do not have any security apparatus in Nigeria. The same say that the president was in. The same say that the insurgency is right. Now you would have expected that they would have sort of locked down the whole state so that any movement, they will know what is happening. They will be monitoring it because the president, even if they have been incompetent all along, that the president is in town, the commander-in-chief is in town, should have made a difference. Nothing. It didn't deter the kidnappers, the terrorists. They weren't. And they took hours doing their operation. They carried those children and they worked for hours freely. Nobody came to test. The war against insurgency in Nigeria is zero. There is no war. There are only territory. A government that is led by a man who says the only role his wife has in his life is in the kitchen and the bedroom. So where is that coming from? This is a man who proudly came out. And ironically, he was saying that to one of the most powerful persons in the world who happens to be a woman in Germany. He was talking to her. He has gone there and she's just to beg for whatever they're begging for. And he was saying this in her presence, just because his wife had talked about certain things that were happening that weren't right. And he comes to say she knows nothing. So what are we talking about? And today you see young men actually using the president's word. Oh, you belong to the kitchen and the other room. No, he hasn't. Repeatedly we have seen the president, whatever he's doing, he does it with 100% men. And he gets away with it. And then you can see how upside down the government is. At the end of the day, all of us are person. You cannot not ignore 50% of your population and think that things are going to be okay for you. They wouldn't be. Because intelligence is not gender-based. You understand this regard for the female gender. Your leadership is going to be like that of one who is working one-legged. And the president has repeatedly shown that. And we are all bearing the consequences of the bad leadership that is going on. Absolutely. In 2019, I supported a female presidential candidate, Dr. And as far as I'm concerned, she was the best candidate to be there. Nigerians should stop this whole thing about saying, oh, a woman cannot be president, a woman cannot be. Leadership is not gender-based. It's merit-based. And we should look for people who have the capacity. And there are a lot of women who can. If you look at the world today, the countries that are better prepared and battling the coronavirus have been women. Because to get the leadership of empathy, who are the people who run the home? People who know how to multitask. That being said, I'm not one to say that, oh, it has to be only a woman or it has to be only a man. We're looking for competent candidates. And it is time I will encourage women absolutely 100% to go into politics. Don't stay back. Don't be afraid. What is the worst thing that will happen? You will know you've not already won anyway. Oh, go and run as if when somebody will lose the election, as if it's something of a stigma or a cause. They'll be using it to insult. It's pathetic. Leadership is saying, I'm here to serve you. And it's for the people to decide whether they want to be served or not. If they don't want your kind of leadership, they will vote for who they want to vote for and get the consequences of the people that they are voting for. Right now, the president is in his second term. Those who voted for him in 2019, we are all facing the consequences of what voting for him has brought. And I've never gone to market and I saw a place where they say, this price of Gari is for those of you that did not vote for the current president, and this price of Gari is for those of you that voted for the current president. All of us are in the same suffering together. And so that's the way it is. And I think it's time for Nigerians to really rate themselves very well and go for people who have competence, character, capacity, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the age, irrespective of the tribe, irrespective of the religion, because at the end of the day, we are all the ones who are suffering from the whole incompetence that is happening in governance.